Hey everyone, welcome. So, if you're watching this, I'm guessing you're feeling that completely overwhelming time crunch right about now. The clock's ticking down, exam day is staring you in the face, and the pressure is, quite frankly, through the roof. But hey, take a breath. We're going to take all that nervous energy and turn it into serious power. Today, we're unpacking a highly focused, super effective revision explainer designed to completely transform your prep in just 10 short days. Don't think of this as just another study plan. This is a full-on boot camp. We're going to break down exactly how you can tackle what feels like a mountain of material and do it with absolute precision.
And that brings us right to the ultimate, total anxiety-inducing question, doesn't it? The one every single student asks themselves when they're staring down a massive, frankly intimidating syllabus right before the exam. Can you actually master this in just 10 days? Like, is it physically possible to meaningfully cover everything, lock in that complex info, and walk in ready when you've literally only got 10 days left?
Okay, let's dive into this. The short answer? Yes. Absolutely yes. But, and this is a massive but, you cannot pull this off by just casually flipping through your highlighters and old notes. No way. You need a ruthless, totally action-oriented strategy. We have to completely eliminate the guesswork. From here on out, every single day, honestly every single hour, has a specific, non-negotiable target. So here's how we've chunked this chaotic sprint into 4 very manageable missions. Phase 1 is core foundations. Phase 2 is the analytical engine. Phase 3 is systems and context. And finally, Phase 4 is the final trial.
All right, let's get right into Phase 1, core foundations. This right here is where we lay down the theoretical bedrock. This sets the tone and, more importantly, the pace for your entire revision schedule. For the first 3 days, we're moving sequentially through some truly massive concepts. We're kicking off day 1 with teaching aptitude, then we pivot to research aptitude on day 2, and we bridge the gap on day 3 with comprehension and communication.
Now, right out of the gate, the sheer density of what you're targeting is intense. On day 1, your rigorous review has to aggressively cover teaching concepts, levels, and evaluation systems. Listen, these are historically super high-yield areas on the exam. What does that mean? It means the time you spend sweating over this stuff now pays off big time later. Then, for day 2, your specific targets are research methods, ethics, and thesis standards. A quick tip here. You need absolute total clarity on research ethics specifically. Vague understanding? That's going to cost you easy points because examiners love trying to trick you with those ambiguous scenarios. Know the exact standards inside and out. By the time you hit day 3, we're shifting gears. We're moving away from pure, dense theory and getting into active practice and application. Step 1 is all about comprehension passages. You actually have to sit down and do the work here. Run through the passages to sharpen your reading speed and your accuracy under simulated pressure. It's like mental cardio. Then, step 2 is mastering communication models and barriers. It's this great blend of active reading and theoretical review that perfectly rounds out the foundational phase. Honestly, mastering those communication barriers right now, that's going to save you vital minutes of confusion when you're sitting in the exam hall.
Okay, take a quick breath because we are moving into Phase 2, the analytical engine.
We're going to slow the pacing down just a bit here because you are entering the dense, rigorous brain gym segment of the boot camp. This middle stretch is purely about quantitative and logical skill building. You'll tackle mathematical reasoning on day 4, pivot to logical reasoning on day 5, and then you're dedicating day 6 entirely to data interpretation. You're flexing a totally different set of mental muscles here compared to the first phase.
And this brilliantly illustrates the massive cognitive shift you have to make. Day 4 is intensely formula-driven, right? You're drilling math formulas, cranking through number series, and calculating percentages. It's all about speed and finding that exact answer. But then, day 5 flips the script completely. You're putting the calculator down to analyze complex conceptual arguments. You're diving into fallacies, Indian logic pramanas, and mastering Venn diagrams. It's this rapid whiplash from black and white numbers straight into the nuanced gray areas of complex logic. You need to be mentally prepped for that sharp pivot, because the actual exam is going to jump between these modes just as fast.
Then we arrive at day 6, which is totally action-oriented. Your sole focus today? Surviving intensive data interpretation drills. That's it. There's no cozy new theory to casually read over. You are literally just sitting down, staring at the data, and grinding through graphs, tables, and pie charts. It's all about building your speed and your accuracy through sheer repetition. Do not, I repeat, do not underestimate the stamina this takes. Getting used to reading dense data tables when your brain is already tired is exactly what's going to save you in the final hours of the real test. moving right along, we hit Phase 3, Systems and Context.
We're zooming out now. We're shifting the narrative focus away from your internal mathematical and logical reasoning and looking outward at the external world and the systemic context that shapes it. Day 7 hits ICT. Day 8 tackles people, development, and environment. And Day 9 zeroes right in on the higher education system. This timeline locks you in as we start heading into the home stretch.
All right, for Days 7 and 8, you have a mountain of specific facts to comprehensively revise. On Day 7, you've got to lock down those ICT abbreviations and really study the various digital higher education initiatives. Then on Day 8, the focus goes global. You'll be covering people, development, and environment topics. Your totally non-negotiable targets here include mastering the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals, and doing a deep dive into international environmental protocols. Let me be clear on why this matters. These global frameworks and digital initiatives get tested heavily year after year. Examiners absolutely love them because they connect academic theory to actual real-world impact. So whatever you do, don't gloss over this stuff.
That brings us to Day 9, where you are dedicating the entire day to one massive topic: studying the evolution of the higher education system. And crucially, this includes memorizing and understanding all the major commissions that have historically shaped the system. Look, I'll level with you, it is a heavy memorization day, so you have to bring your absolute best focus. Knowing the chronological order and the key mandates of these historical commissions, that's the difference between a guessing game and having absolute certainty on the exam. Finally, we arrive at Phase 4, the final trial. We have reached the crescendo of this explainer. The content review, it's over. Today is execution day. Day 10 is broken down into 2 highly actionable, really intense steps. Step 1 is to conclude your prep by taking 2 full-length mock tests to build up that essential exam stamina. But, and so the crucial point is this, just taking the tests isn't enough. Step 2, which is reviewing your final error log, is what actually ensures your ultimate readiness. Dissecting the mistakes you made in those tests, that's where the real learning happens. That is the final polish that transforms your weak spots into absolute strengths right before you walk into the exam hall. So, the schedule is locked. We've mapped out every single step, from the foundations of teaching aptitude all the way to that final error log review. The path is crystal clear. The strategy is ruthless, your targets are set, and the 10 days, they start right now. You have the blueprint. The only question left to ask yourself is, are you ready?